guys? Welcome back to the final edition in the regular season, that is, of the Football Corner Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremiah Queen, and this is your first time viewing the channel on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment on the video you're watching. Also, if you're listening to me on a podcast app like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or even Spotify, go subscribe to the podcast. And this episode, I want to start by being a homer. Let's go to my hometown team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to get to all the teams and congratulate all the teams that made it to the 2023 NFL playoffs. But let's talk about a team that had probably the biggest whiff or choked the hardest in the regular season this year. You're talking about a team in the Jacksonville Jaguars that had a 8-3 record through the first 11 games and then ended the season 1-5 with their prodigy or the can't-miss prospect of a quarterback of Trevor Lawrence, a guy I still believe in, but a guy that people thought could take this team far places, even the Super Bowl, or even have the number one seed. Let's talk about what happened in Week 18. And Trevor Lawrence have going 0-5 his last 5 starts. Understand he had injury problems. Understand the offensive line wasn't the best. Understand he couldn't have a running game. He had receivers getting injured left and right. But it doesn't matter because guess what? At the end of the day, the Tennessee Titans, a team that was not good at all, a team that was going to be looking for a new quarterback and a new running back in the offseason because Derrick Henry probably played his last game with the Tennessee Titans. He ran for over 150 rushing yards like he's been doing his whole career against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But let's talk about what the Tennessee Titans did and talk about what the Jaguars didn't. Here's a few plays, and I'm not like people who break down film, but here's a few plays that really sums up what the Jaguar season was. This first play is trying to throw a comeback route to Zay Jones, and he throws an interception. This play, he's threw it way over the head of their intended receiver, and this turnover led to 7 points. And then we're talking about last drive of the game. You got 2 minutes that your defense gets off the field, and the Jacksonville Jaguars defense was not good all day. They get you the ball back. You get the ball back with 2-minute offense, no timeouts. You got to go score a touchdown and complete a 2-point conversion to get 8 points to go to overtime. For you 2nd and 2, Trevor Lawrence drops back, overthrows, just slightly bit Calvin Ridley, who's wide open down the end of the field. If he throws him in stride like he did in the beginning of the game where he had a 59-yard touchdown, if he throws him in stride, it's a touchdown, and then we're going for a 2-point conversion. Now, I'm not saying that we will even get the 2-point conversion if this pass is completed. And people are going to say, well, Trevor Lawrence was pressure in his face. But if you're going to be a franchise QB, if you're going to be a star QB, or you're going to be a generational talent, you have to make a throw like that in the biggest moment with the game on the line in order for your team to have a chance in life to go to the postseason and win the division. And then this is the final play. If you are generational talent, you make this, you understand this read. It's 3rd and 2. All-out blitz comes on him. Evan Ingram, who had 10 catches on the day, second most catches by a tight end in NFL history, right behind Zach Ertz. 114 catches by Evan Ingram in this season alone. Should have made the Pro Bowl, but that's neither here or there. If you watch this play, look at this play. This is why I have doubts in Trevor Lawrence. Not because he can't be a good quarterback for this franchise, but taking that next step. When the pressure is on and the pressure comes, he just throws the ball away, and he has right there at the bottom of your screen on 3rd and 2, Evan Ingram is wide open. You have to make that throw. You have to see that Evan Ingram is giving you a safety blanket. No defenders are within 2 yards of Evan Ingram. It's an easy play, easy throw, but it doesn't happen. And this is what the Jacksonville Jaguars will be watching the playoffs from the couch, as I would. And as a fan, it's so frustrating because this team had high hopes in the offseason. And this is what happens when you don't execute or you don't play, put your foot on the gas, or step on your opponent's throats in the division. Now let's transition to a team who win the division, AFC South, and that's the Houston Texans. Houston Texans, congratulations. C.J. Stroud's going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Should have been a Pro Bowler over Pat Mahomes. DeMeco Ryans has a really good chance of being Coach of the Year because of what they have done this season. They go 10-7, and in the starts, 9-6 in C.J. Stroud as a starter, over 4,000 passing yards, the best TD to interception ratio in the league, which is he's the first rookie quarterback to do that in NFL history. C.J. Stroud was played way above. He was the best quarterback in this division in the AFC South. Better than Trevor Lawrence, better than Tannehill, Lewis, Levis combination, better than Gardner Minshew and Anthony Richardson. And here's the play that helped the Houston Texans actually go to the playoffs. It's a easy play. It's 4th and 1. You have to get Gardner Minshew have to throw this flat route. I don't know if it's miscommunication by the running back and Gardner Minshew, but this play has to be executed for the Colts to have even more life to get in that first down and possibly go win the ball game. But kudos to the Houston Texans. They are going to be playing the Cleveland Browns in the first round of the playoff in Wild Card Weekend. Kudos to a team that has firepower, can play defense. They went from worst to first, picking second overall and third overall in the draft, and drafting Will Anderson Jr. and C.J. Stroud with the second overall pick to go into the playoffs. It's a great thing to see for the Houston Texans. I want to talk about the NFC playoffs seedings. And this is probably, it's a storybook. You got the Packers playing the Cowboys, and the Cowboys' recent history of playing the Packers in the playoffs has not been friendly to them. Even though it was Aaron Rodgers beating the Cowboys in the past, but then you have Mike McCarthy going back to play his former team that he won a Super Bowl with in the Green Bay Packers. Then you have the Rams versus Detroit. Matthew Stafford got to go back to Detroit to play them in a playoff game. Jared Goff gets to play a team that he took to the Super Bowl in the Los Angeles Rams. This should be a great matchup. And then let's talk about the Buccaneers get to play the Eagles, an Eagles team that is spiraling out of control, and they lost 5 of the last 6 games. Let's talk about it. The Buccaneers are probably going to be favored in this game because I think the Buccaneers probably could knock off the Eagles because the Eagles are playing their worst. They started playing their worst football down the stretch, and this is why the Cowboys were able to take the 2nd seed and win the NFC East. The Buccaneers need to get congratulations to the Buccaneers. They 3-time NFC South champions and 3 consecutive seasons, back to back to back to back. Congratulations to Todd Bowles. He gets to keep his job, winning back-to-back divisions in a weak NFC South. The Falcons will be looking for a new quarterback and a new head coach in the offseason, and the Saints probably looking for a new head coach as well. I think Derek Carr stays because of the big contract, and Derek Carr put on a great show at the end of the season of winning his last 2 games, and he threw 4 touchdowns against the Falcons. But let's talk about the matchup that I think will be, and that's the Packers and the Cowboys. And not so much of the matchup. We're talking about, I told you guys that the Packers will make the playoffs because I believe in Jordan Love, and Matt LaFleur will be able to play the style of football that he wants to play with Jordan Love being his quarterback. No one believed in Jordan Love. Even in the offseason, everybody wrote the Packers off because they was like, well, Jordan Love, because of what we've seen in the past in practices and in the one start he did have as a Packers quarterback, he didn't look that great. And I know, in the beginning of the season, it looked horrible, it looked rough. But Jordan Love is showing why the Packers believed in him and why they drafted him in the first place. Because he just got better throughout the season. And now the Cowboys, you have to fear about. I understand the Cowboys won 16 consecutive games, but I believe that Jordan Love can make the Cowboys worry in their being at AT&T Stadium. But kudos to the Cowboys. They're clinched the number 2 seed. I think this is the best position the Cowboys would like to be in order to go to their first NFC Championship game since '95. Yes, I was even born then. So congratulations to the Cowboys clinching the NFC East and the number 2 seed. But I think they will be worried about playing the Packers and Jordan Love. I think they would rather have played the Los Angeles Rams because the Packers is going to be a hard out in the 2023 playoffs. Well, since the season is over with, let me go ahead and knock out my end of the year awards. The NFL Honors Awards that be going to all the players that have played the best football or have coached the best football in the 2023 NFL season. Let's start off with the MVP. I'm gonna give the MVP to Lamar Jackson. I think Dak Prescott is going to make a strong case now that he threw another 4 touchdowns and he led the league in passing touchdowns and was top 5 in every other statistical category. I think Dak Prescott it wouldn't be shocked me if Dak Prescott was second place in the voting. And if he won, I wouldn't be shocked as well. And then we could go Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go give it to Tyreek Hill. I understand most people are going to want to give it to Christian McCaffrey, but I think Tyreek Hill's impact was greater than Christian McCaffrey's impact. Christian McCaffrey was playing alongside multiple Pro Bowlers, even having a potential second-team All-Pro quarterback in Brock Purdy. So I don't think it was going to be he did everything, but I think Tyreek Hill made that Dolphins offense go. Let's go with Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go give it to TJ Watt. Then there's two people that probably could get consideration. I think Josh Allen deserves a great consideration from the Jacksonville Jaguars. 17 and a half sacks, second most pressures in the NFL. I think he should be recognized as the runner-up candidate and Defensive Player of the Year. But we know it's going to be a popularity contest. Josh Allen is a Jacksonville Jaguar. They're not going to give a Jaguar Defensive Player of the Year. And Myles Garrett, I think, deserves credit too, along with Michael Parsons and Trey Hendrickson, another pass rusher. But at the end of the day, I think T.J. Watt is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And let's transition to the Rookie Awards. Let's go to Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to be C.J. Stroud, mainly because he took his team to the playoffs, had the best TD to interception ratio, and you could argue this season he was a top 10 quarterback without a doubt. Let's go to Defensive Rookie of the season. I'm gonna have to go with Jalen Carter. I think his impact in the run game and his ability to rush the passer was very impactful. There's other guys who should get consideration. The cornerback Devin Witherspoon, because he made the Pro Bowl. I think he will probably be runner-up. And the kid from the Rams, the D tackle, I think he will be getting a lot of consideration of being Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then we could go Comeback Player of the Year. Damar Hamlin probably is going to win it, but I think Joe Flacco should be the Comeback Player of the Year because he has played the best football this season for a player that just literally came off his couch, and now he led that team to go to the playoffs. And with that, we could transition to the Coach of the Year. I know I'm saying a lot, but let's talk about the Coach of the Year. This is the final award. The Coach of the Year, I think, is going to go to Kevin Stefanski because he had to play with 4 quarterbacks this season. 4. You could argue he played with 5 because Jeff Driscoll played in the last game of the season, and a meaningless game because the Cleveland Browns locked up the number 5 seed. But Kevin Stefanski deserved to be Coach of the Year. I think Shane Steichen from the Colts and also DeMeco Ryans from the Houston Texans should deserve consideration for Coach of the Year. But there's no brainer that if you had to go through 4 quarterbacks, you deserve to be Coach of the Year. Well, thank you for watching and listening to the Football Corner podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more content I do outside the channel, you can follow me on my Instagram page and my TikTok page at the Football Corner podcast. And stay tuned because the postseason again is started. I got more content coming on this channel and on my social media platforms I just mentioned. So thank you for watching and listening. See you next time.